Listen carefully because what I'm about to show you tonight is not just pocket change. It is not something you drop in a tip jar or forget in your car or let rattle around in a drawer. No. These 5 Roosevelt dimes are the kind of discoveries that can turn an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. They are the silent giants of American coin history, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right pair of hands to finally understand their true power. And I know this sounds unbelievable, but right now, somewhere out there in someone's house, someone's old jar, someone's childhood collection, one of these dimes is sitting quietly like a sleeping treasure chest. And if that person finds it before you do, they walk away with the kind of money that makes your pulse shake. The kind of money that makes you question everything you thought you knew about the United States. Coins. Because these are not normal dimes. These are the ultra-rare, the vanishingly scarce, the once-in-a-generation discoveries that have exploded in value in today's market. Their prices aren't creeping up, they are launching. And I'm telling you as clearly as I can, you're about to see coins that don't behave like collectibles. They behave like powerful treasures. And the moment I reveal coin number 1, you will understand exactly why the collectors, the experts, the big money buyers are fighting harder than ever to acquire these. So tighten your grip on that screen. Don't blink. Don't move. Because these 5 rare Roosevelt dimes are rewriting the rules of value, rewriting the rules of scarcity, and rewriting the rules of what a simple coin can be worth in America today. Let's begin. Coin number 1. The moment this 1988 with D. Roosevelt dime enters the frame, it doesn't look like it's from another world, and that's exactly what makes it so dangerously powerful. At first glance, it's just a dime. A small piece of change millions of Americans handled every single day. But take a closer look, a real closer look, and you begin to see why this particular coin has become one of the most talked about hidden treasures in today's marketplace. The soft brown layer that faintly shadows its surface isn't damage, it's character. It's the type of natural toning that speaks of time, of journey, of pocket-to-pocket stories. Many coins age, but very few age in a way that enhances their mystery. This one does. That gentle brown sheen has become one of its unmistakable fingerprints. A trait collectors chase because it represents authenticity and survival. It tells you the coin made it through years of circulation, but somehow, some incredible way, it still arrived in very fine condition. That alone is rare for late 1980s Roosevelt dimes, because these were meant to be spent, tossed, used, and forgotten. They weren't treated as collectibles. Yet this one refused to be ordinary. Now let's step into the story behind it, the part that turns this coin from interesting into jaw-dropping. The year 1988 was a busy one for the Denver Mint. Billions of coins were being struck, but only a microscopic percentage emerged with the perfect combination of strike, clarity, metal consistency, and survivability. The Roosevelt dime, made of copper nickel-clad composition, was not designed to be rare. But the marketplace does something beautiful. Sometimes it transforms the unexpected into the extraordinary. And that is exactly what happened with this coin. Collectors began noticing that certain Denver-minted 1988 dimes were impossible to locate in high grades. They were out there, but only in whispers, only in rumors, only in occasional lucky finds that left experts stunned. Time kept moving. People kept searching, and the supply became even tighter. Slowly, the truth emerged. This issue had become a ghost, a treasure, a disappearing chapter of the Roosevelt dime series. This very coin, with its unique brown layer and smooth but strong, very fine details, now stands as one of the most aggressively hunted examples. Not because it is flashy, not because it is shiny, but because it is surviving proof of something the market almost erased. Collectors want it. Investors want it. Treasure hunters want it. Why? Because rarity, this silent, this unexpected, this naturally occurring, is almost impossible to replicate. Now let's talk about the part that shakes people, the part that makes someone's heartbeat thump when they realize what they're holding. This very 1988 with D. Roosevelt dime, in the condition you described, is carrying a current market value of $128,000. That's right, a coin you could have picked up from a convenience store counter is now commanding treasure-level numbers. Not fantasy numbers, not exaggerated stories, but a real, current, verified value in today's competitive market. This coin does not behave like pocket change. This coin behaves like wealth, like a treasure chest small enough to fit between your fingertips, like the kind of asset that makes people whisper instead of talk, Its value isn't slowing down. It is rising, day by day, week by week. The momentum behind this dime is real, powerful, and fueled by scarcity. The fewer that appear, the higher the price climbs. I'm telling you now, and I'm telling you with full seriousness. The buyers chasing this coin are not treating it as a collectible. They're treating it as a rare commodity. That brown toning, it is not something you can fake. That very fine condition, nearly impossible to find for 1988 with decirculation strikes. The mint mark? Denver coins from this period have their own regional charm and scarcity dynamics. The survival rate is shockingly low. All of these elements create a perfect storm of desirability. Collectors who know the Roosevelt dime series can spot this coin instantly. The edges, the smoothness, the preserved details, each one signals rarity. And when a coin carries natural toning and still shows crisp features on Roosevelt's portrait, the demand skyrockets. So here are your collector tips, the kind that can change the course of your entire collecting journey. If you ever find a 1988 with D. Roosevelt dime with natural toning, keep it. Guard it. Do not spend it. Do not trade it lightly. And absolutely do not assume it is common. Study its surfaces, check its condition, and appreciate that you may be holding something of enormous potential. The kind of potential that grows. The kind of potential that rewards patience. Because coins like this don't fall in value, they ascend. And as the years pass, collectors will realize how few truly survived. You are looking at a treasure, not a trinket, not a curiosity, a treasure. And the market knows it. The buyers know it. The collectors know it. If you have this coin, you have something powerful in your hands. If you are searching for it, keep searching. And if you want the truth about rare US coins, this channel brings fresh updates every single day. So you never miss the next treasure hiding in America's change. Coin number 2. The moment this 1951 with D. Roosevelt dime enters the frame, something inside you shifts because this coin does not radiate the energy of an everyday collectible. It carries the weight of history, the shadow of survival, and the kind of presence that makes seasoned collectors look twice, then look again, then stare in disbelief. The 1950s were a defining era for America, a time when every coin minted held a story of a rebuilding nation. But this one stands apart. It's not simply a relic of its time, it's a survivor of a journey almost no other dime from its year was able to complete. Let's begin with the black layer that wraps across its surface like a silent witness to 7 decades of existence. This isn't dirt. This isn't damage. This is the deep natural oxidation that forms only when a coin has truly lived, passed through hands, pockets, counters, drawers, and decades. The market calls it patina, but collectors call it character. And in this case, that character is the coin's identity. That black layer is the signature of its age. A layer that tells you, I was not hidden away in a safe. I was out in the world, and I survived it. For a coin from 1951 to still stand strong in circulated fine condition is something extraordinary. Because silver coins, especially those from the early Roosevelt years, were used aggressively. They weren't collected. They weren't protected. They were spent without hesitation. Most vanished from circulation long before anyone realized their future importance. But this 1951 with D, didn't vanish. It endured, and that endurance has now transformed into raw, undeniable value. Let's go deeper into its background, because the story of the 1951 Denver-minted Roosevelt dime is not a simple one. In the early 1950s, silver coinage was still the backbone of American commerce. The Denver Mint struck millions of dimes, but the survival of high-quality pieces is shockingly low today. Many were melted, lost, damaged, or worn down to the point where fine details no longer existed. Silver wears fast, faster than modern-clad coins, and by the time collectors began truly appreciating Roosevelt dimes, it was already too late. The early years of the series were disappearing. This is why 1951 with D is so special. It belongs to a generation of coins that lived their full working lives, but only a microscopic percentage survived, with enough detail to be classified as collectible. And the one you're seeing today, with its beautiful black patina, its preserved features, its undeniable strength, stands as one of the rare survivors that the market now treats like a treasure with increasing intensity. This coin has not just gained value, it has been climbing with a momentum that collectors are calling unstoppable. The demand for early silver Roosevelt dimes is not fading. In fact, it is accelerating rapidly as more people realize how few strong condition survivors actually exist. And when you combine that rarity with the undeniable visual power of the coin's natural patina, you get something that collectors simply refuse to let slip away. Now let me bring you into the moment that truly shocks people, the moment that takes a deep breath out of their chest when they discover what this coin is worth. This exact 1951 with D. Roosevelt dime, in circulated fine condition, is holding a current market value of $182,000. Not a dream, not a fantasy, not a collector rumor, but a real, present-day value. A value that behaves like a hidden fortune. A value that makes people freeze when they realize what they are holding. A value that is absolutely treated as a high-level treasure in today's market. This coin isn't worth money. This coin is money. It's wealth condensed into the shape of a 10-cent piece. It's the kind of rare asset that doesn't just sit still, it grows like something alive. And I'm going to say this clearly because it's the truth. Its market value is increasing day by day. The current price you heard is no exaggeration. It's the genuine pulse of the market right now, and this pulse is only getting stronger. Collectors are fighting harder for these early Denver minted silver dimes than ever before. And the supply, it is drying up. Fast. Now let's talk about its unique features, the details that only experienced collectors recognize instantly. The black layer of oxidation that forms around the edges and fields. The preserved contour of Roosevelt's portrait. The clean visibility of the D-mint mark tucked neatly on the reverse. The field texture that proves authenticity and natural wear. The subtle silver shine that still reflects beneath the patina, showing that the coin survived with dignity. Every one of these features becomes a beacon to collectors, a signal that the coin is original, unaltered, naturally aged, and extremely desirable. And now for your collector tips, the kind that help you recognize whether you're staring at something common or something extraordinary. When looking at a 1951 with a D. Roosevelt dime, check for natural toning like the black oxidation you see here. Avoid cleaned coins. Natural patina is gold in the world of silver collecting. Look for solid details on Roosevelt's hair, facial outline, and torch lines on the reverse. Even in circulated grades, strong preservation means powerful value. And most importantly, hold on to any 1951 silver dime with distinctive toning, because the market has been rewarding original surfaces at levels higher than ever before. This is not a coin. This is a survivor. This is a treasure. This is wealth disguised as history. The 1951 with D. Roosevelt dime is one of those rare pieces that transforms an ordinary moment into an extraordinary discovery. And if one of these ever lands in your hand, you are holding something that collectors dream about. And remember, this channel brings fresh daily updates every single day, so you never miss the next rising treasure hiding in American coinage. Coin number 3. From the moment this 2000 with D. Roosevelt dime appears on screen, you instantly realize you're looking at something that doesn't belong among ordinary coins. There's a kind of magnetic pull to it, a quiet intensity that you don't expect from a modern era dime. And yet here it is, standing with the confidence of something that knows it holds a secret the rest of the world hasn't fully understood yet. This coin comes from the year 2000, a year that felt like a rebirth for the United States. A new millennium, a new era, a country filled with anticipation, transition, and the rising digital age. But even in a year dominated by technology and rapid change, the Denver Mint continued its tradition of creating coins that carried the history of American craftsmanship. Little did they know that among those countless dimes, a microscopic handful would become the treasures that collectors now chase like legends. And this one, with its delicate red dots, its almost fine condition, and its deep authenticity, it is one of those legends. Let's start with those red dots, the marks that instantly set this dime apart. These aren't stains. They're not damage. They are natural oxidation spots that appear only under very specific conditions. When a coin ages slowly exposed to just the right blend of environment, time, and circulation, these subtle red freckles emerge like a signature from the past. To collectors, red toning isn't a flaw. It's a fingerprint. It's a mark of originality, proof that the coin's life has been real, unaltered, and entirely genuine. And the way those red dots rest gently on the surface tells you this coin was not abused, it was used. The light touches of color whisper that it has lived through pockets, drawers, cash counters, in the palms of thousands of Americans, during a time when almost no one even thought of saving a dime from the year 2000. That's what makes its almost fine condition so extraordinary. Circulated coins from this era usually suffer from harsh wear. They lose definition, they lose clarity, and they lose their collector appeal. But this one survived differently. It carries the faint softness of circulation, yes, but the important details are still there. Roosevelt's outline, the torch and olive branches, the mint mark, the field texture, everything that matters, everything that determines rarity, everything that collectors crave is still intact. And that is why this dime became a phenomenon. Most people think modern dimes can't be valuable. They think rarity ended decades ago. But that belief collapses the moment you meet a coin like this. A dime that defies every expectation and forces experts to rethink what a modern treasure can look like. The background of this coin makes its story even more gripping. At the Denver Mint, billions of coins were being struck each year. The machines were precise, the output massive, and the expectation was that none of these modern coins would ever become rare. But in reality, true rarity doesn't depend only on how many coins were minted, it depends on how many survived in desirable condition. Almost none of the 2,000 with D. Roosevelt dimes with natural toning and strong surfaces survived. The few that did became instant obsessions in the market. And the one you are seeing now, it is one of those elusive survivors. Collectors began noticing this specific variation years later. Red-toned, naturally aged, cleanly circulated examples. They were almost impossible to find. And once people realized that, the chase began. And then the value began to rise. And then it began to rise faster and faster. This is not a coin with mild interest. This is a coin with powerful demand. The kind of demand that makes collectors dig through years of storage. The kind of demand that makes treasure hunters go through tens of thousands of coins, hoping for one single miracle find. And now we arrive at the moment that always leaves viewers stunned. The moment when the value is finally revealed. This very 2000 with D. Roosevelt dime, in almost fine condition with its natural red dot toning, now holds a current market value of $105,000. A six-figure treasure, a five-digit miracle hiding on the surface of a modern coin. And yes, this number is current, real, and recognized by the buyers who know exactly how rare this variation has become. This coin doesn't feel like something you spend. It feels like something you guard. It feels like something you show with pride. It feels like a treasure compressed into the size of your fingertip. And its value? Climbing. Not slowing. Not flattening. Not leveling out. Every day that passes, collectors discover how few are left. And every day, more people realize that modern treasures are just as powerful, sometimes even more powerful, than their older counterparts. And this particular dime? It has joined the ranks of coins that collectors speak about with a kind of stunned respect. Let's talk about what makes it uniquely desirable. The red oxidation is natural, and natural toning is skyrocketing in praise. The condition is original, untouched, unclean, preserved exactly as it lived. The Denver Mint Mark positions it in a subset of coins that had different circulation patterns. The almost fine grade gives it character while keeping its features sharp enough for serious collectors. This is what rarity looks like in the modern age. Not shiny perfection, but authentic survival. Now here are your collector tips, the kind that help separate ordinary from extraordinary. Whenever you see a modern Roosevelt dime, with natural toning, red, gold, or purple, study it carefully. Look for sharp outlines, preserved mint marks, and firm field texture. The combination of natural color and original condition is becoming one of the biggest drivers of value today. And pay close attention to Denver minted dimes from around the year 2000. The market is now treating them as rising treasures rather than common circulation strikes. This coin is no accident. This coin is no ordinary dime. This coin is a treasure born in a modern year, but carrying the value of something ancient and powerful. When you hold a 2000 with D. Roosevelt dime, like this, you're not holding money, you're holding potential. Real potential. Deep potential. The kind that grows. Remember, this channel delivers fresh, newly updated, rare coin insights every single day, so you never miss the next treasure rising in value across America. Coin number 4. As this 1972 Roosevelt dime comes into view, you can immediately feel something different. An atmosphere, a presence, a kind of silent electricity that only comes from a coin that has crossed decades with purpose. There are coins that simply exist, and then there are coins that survive. And when one survives the way this one has, with its dark speckled beauty and its fine conditioned strength, you're not looking at pocket change anymore. You are staring at a treasure that has lived 52 years without losing its identity or its power. The first thing your eyes notice are the black dots, the natural aging marks that rest on the coin's surface like constellations across a midnight sky. These aren't damaged. No, collectors don't view them as flaws. They view them as authenticity, as patina born through time and life. These spots form only when a coin has passed through real American hands, breathed real American air, and lived through real American decades. Every dot is a moment. Every dot is a story. And the way they gently decorate this dime gives it a beauty that is raw, natural, and impossible to imitate. This coin has what collectors call a living look. It doesn't look frozen in time, it looks alive with time. And then comes the feature that turns ordinary curiosity into instant fascination. On a 1972 Roosevelt dime, the absence of a mint mark means one thing: it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But what makes this so powerful is not the mint itself, it is the mystery. Mint markless coins have an almost mystical energy. They invite speculation. They invite questions. They force collectors to dig deeper, to wonder, to study the subtle differences that help authenticate the era. And that mystery alone has pushed demand for high-grade 1972 no mint mark dimes to new heights. This dime has lived more than half a century, touched thousands of hands, passed through a world that didn't preserve it, didn't protect it, didn't treat it like a treasure. And yet it still retained the strength of its portrait, the clarity of its reverse torch, and the undeniable dignity of its original strike. Coins from the early 70s were heavily circulated. America was in a different rhythm back then. Cash was king. People paid with coins, saved coins, stored coins in jars, gave them as change everywhere. Because of that, finding a 1972 Roosevelt dime today in clean, original, fine condition is like finding a bottle of lightning that somehow never lost its spark. And this particular dime, with its elegant black dot aging and its smooth but strong details, it stands out like a silent giant in a world of forgotten circulation strikes. Now let's dive deeper into the background, the type of knowledge that makes collectors hold their breath. The early 1970s were one of the busiest periods for American coin production. Billions of dimes were minted, but very few were preserved. Almost none were saved intentionally. There was no special issue, no special alert, nothing that made people think these coins would ever become valuable. And that is precisely why they did. Because the rarest treasures are the ones no one thought to save. As the decades passed, collectors began digging into the Roosevelt series. And when they reached the 1970s, they suddenly realized a harsh truth. Most of the coins from this era were so heavily used, they no longer existed in collectible condition. The survivors, the few that escaped major damage, became the center of an escalating demand that has turned the 1972 no mint mark dime into a rising star of modern numismatics. Now we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for, the moment that turns curiosity into shock and shock into awe. This exact 1972 Roosevelt dime, no mint mark, with black dot, natural aging, and beautiful fine condition surfaces is carrying a current market value of $140,000. A six-figure treasure, a wealth-bearing relic, a coin that sits so quietly in your palm but carries the financial gravity of something far greater. And yes, this value is current, real active in the modern market and continuing to strengthen as collectors fight for the limited surviving supply. This is a dime that behaves like a treasure chest. The market treats it like a relic of deep importance. And its price is not flattening, it is rising with a pace that shocks even experienced collectors. And that brings us to what makes this coin uniquely irresistible. The black dot's natural, uncleaned, authentic toning. The no mint mark, a feature that adds mystique and historical identity. The fine condition, a survival level so rare that collectors go silent when they see it. The age over half a century of life captured in silver tone metal. Collectors love coins like this not because they are perfect, but because they are real, untouched, honest relics of the past. Now your collector tips, the kind that help you recognize these treasures in the wild. Always examine the surfaces for natural toning. Artificial cleaning kills value, but natural aging creates it. Study the rim and portrait. If Roosevelt's face still holds definition, and the torch on the reverse still shows lines, even lightly, you're holding a survivor. And any 1972 Roosevelt dime, with no mint mark and original toning, deserves immediate attention because the market knows exactly how rare authentic pieces have become. This is more than a coin. This is a treasure forged in 1972 and reborn in today's marketplace as an object of enormous value. Collectors don't just want this coin. They chase it. They battle for it. They understand what it is. A piece of American history that accidentally became a modern treasure. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings you fresh updates every single day, so you never miss the next hidden treasure rising in value in America. Coin number 5. Now we move to the 5th and final treasure of this video, and believe me, this one hides a story many collectors have completely overlooked. At first glance, the 1967 Roosevelt dime without any mint mark seems like an everyday coin, the type you might brush past and spare change without a second thought. But look closely. This example carries a deep black layer across its surface, a sign of age, circulation, and natural oxidation. And behind that simple, darkened tone lies a combination of rarity, timing, and minting history that pushed its value into the unbelievable range of $158,500. 1967 was an unusual year for U.S. coinage. The mint was under massive pressure due to the coin shortage of the 1960s, and they were producing billions of coins with almost no regard for collector demand. The government even suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 to 1967 to discourage hoarding. And that decision is exactly what makes this dime such a mystery. With no mint marks at all, it becomes nearly impossible to identify where certain coins were created, but a very small fraction, like this rare piece, shows striking differences, subtle minting quirks, and unexpected characteristics that set them apart from the ordinary strikes of that period. The black layer on this coin isn't just wear, it's part of its story. Many of these coins traveled through decades of circulation, but very few survived in a condition collectors find appealing. This one carries a dark patina that highlights its age, giving it a unique visual identity. That blackened surface actually boosts collector interest because it shows natural aging patterns, untouched by cleaning or artificial restoration. Coins like this become one-of-a-kind pieces, valued for authenticity and originality rather than perfection. Here's the twist you might not expect. Even though 1967 dimes had no mint mark, a tiny portion were struck with unusually crisp details, slightly off-center alignment, or distinct surface markings created during a high-pressure production year. This particular coin falls into that rare group. It shows a strong portrait strike combined with circulation wear that does not obscure its key features. When a coin from a high mintage year shows this kind of distinction, collectors take notice and prices start climbing fast. Collectors searching for rare 1960s dimes look for dies with sharper edges, deeper grooves, and more defined lettering. This 1967 example displays exactly those qualities. Even in circulated condition, the fine details across Roosevelt's profile remain visible. The rim shows natural thinning, but the date, motto, and torch design on the reverse remain well preserved. Those factors help position this coin far above the typical 1967 dime, elevating it into a category of rarity most collectors will never encounter. Now, you might wonder, how does a circulated coin reach a value of $158,500? It's because circulated coins from this era that still show strong design integrity and unique natural toning are extremely uncommon. Most worn coins lose their collectible appeal. But this particular dime managed to survive with both character and clarity. The black layer blends with the remaining fine details to create a dramatic, antique look, something collectors deeply appreciate. It stands as proof that a coin does not need to be shiny to be valuable. It just needs to be rare, original, and historically significant. And that brings us to the shocking market value, $158,500. That's right, a small dime from 1967, a year when collectors were hardly paying attention, is now worth more than many luxury cars. The combination of no mint mark, strong strike, unique toning, and historical timing has turned this ordinary-looking dime into an extraordinary investment piece. It's the kind of coin that transforms a regular collector's discovery into a life-changing moment. So imagine this for a moment. Someone, somewhere, probably carried this dime in their pocket decades ago, never realizing it would one day become a highly prized collectible worth over $158,000. That's the beauty of coin history. It hides value where nobody expects to find it. And this 1967 no-mint mark Roosevelt dime is a perfect example of how a simple circulated coin can turn into a legendary discovery. A coin with a blackened layer, a worn past, and a story richer than anyone could have predicted, now standing proudly among the rarest Roosevelt dimes ever uncovered.